That'd be great. Yeah, I can get you a copy of it if you'd like. Would you like that to put in a file?
Yep.
Okay. All right, good evening. Thank you for joining us for the work session, committee of the whole prior to our meeting at 7 o'clock. We'll run through the agenda here real quick. The minutes are on here. Anybody have any changes to those? It takes us to unfinished business. Will, would you like to give a report real quickly here on ordinance 2023, the second budget amendment? Or do you want to skip that and come back to it after Tricia's back?
We can go back to it.
Okay. The other piece of unfinished business. Director Glidden for the tank inspections. Do you want to give a quick staff report on that? Thank you.
So I got the contracts back from both companies, and both did the edits that our attorney was requesting. So I would say they're both qualified applicants, and my recommendation would be for the out-of-state contractor, Core Tech or Tech Core. Yeah. Yeah, that's my recommendation. That we've used them the last time we did it, and we're satisfied with the job that they did. And they're about $5,000 less than the in-state guys. Also, the guys that are in-state, their schedule has filled up pretty quickly, so they want to do it this week if we pick them. So I feel like it's in our benefit to go with the out-of-state people that have more time, have done it already for us, and it's a little bit less expensive. So,
Okay. Thank you, Tim. Any questions for Tim about either contract? Okay. That moves us on to new business. We have ordinance 2025-04 compensation. We have someone that would like to give a staff report, either Miss Rolfe or Mr. Brandt.
Just wait till the meeting.
Okay, do we have any questions about the ordinance? Okay, we'll move on to item B, 2025. I'm sorry, 2026-05, amending council meeting time and place.
We can wait for the meeting for that one too.
Okay, are there any questions that the remaining council has about either of these? Okay, that brings us on to ordinance 2026-06, amending the order of business.
Wait for the meeting for that one also.
Any questions, council? Okay, that takes us on to resolution 26-06, the city AI policy for employees and elected officials. Councilman Claus, would you like to speak to this?
Thanks, Mayor. Is it possible to consent that item? It's pretty thorough presentation in our.
I do have a proposed amendment to it.
Thanks, noted.
Do you want to discuss that now before we get into it, or do you want to wait for the meeting for that as well?
We can wait.
Any other discussions? Okay, that moves us on to item E, request to council clerk professional development and salary step increase.
I'd like to have that one consent.
Consent.
I would ask that we make it retroactive to the date that she was eligible for it, however.
I'm opposed to consenting this item. I think we should certainly talk about it.
I don't think we
Be
should.
careful what you talked about, Larry.
I don't think we should. I think we should consent this one. You're gonna run into situations that you don't want to be into.
Okay. I'm still opposed to consenting this item.
I would also prefer to consent.
Okay. Any discussion on that other than what we've already had? Okay, that brings us on to item F, request council utility backup, utility damage and renovations. Tim?
So this winter, our sewer line froze up, and as a result, we flooded a basement of one of our residents, and we've been working for just over a month now to get that situation figured out, and we've come up with a settlement agreement with the homeowner. So instead of receiving bills for the work being done and then reimbursing the homeowner, the idea is to give them one check that should cover the whole repair cost, and then the city doesn't have to check up on them and arrange for contractors and stuff like that. So the total cost of the settlement is $138,558.46. We're anticipating that our insurance will cover $124,561.75, which would leave $13,996.71 paid for out of the sewer utility fund. So the homeowner has agreed and signed this agreement already. So my recommendation tonight would be that you guys approve this settlement so that the mayor can sign it and we can get them a check this week so that the contractors can start doing the work. The holdup has been that the contractors won't do any work without us giving them 50% deposit, which has been difficult to figure out. So this would, if it's approved tonight, this would allow us to sign this contract and write them a check for $138,000, and then the homeowner will be able to get the contractors to start.
Councilman Brandt?
What's our deductible for insurance?
It's
So
no-
insurance
no-
would, if we just went through insurance with this, they'd pay 100% of it. So I'm just wondering why we're going to a settlement rather than our insurance is going to cover it. This could have been taken care of by now if we just went through insurance.
It was suggested by our attorney because of the repair cost and
That's by the attorney because you asked them about a settlement rather than going through the insurance. And I'm just wondering what the advantage of a settlement rather than just allowing our insurance to take care of it. We have insurance for a reason. And this could have been taken care of by now if we had just gone through our insurance company. So I'm just wondering what the cost difference to the taxpayers would be.
would be exactly the same.
Yeah, I don't know what the insurance would cover if they were talking to them, but I don't know that it's costing us anything extra.
Well, if the insurance is going to cover it, the only cost to the taxpayers would be our deductible. And so that's why I asked what our deductible is.
Right, so the $13,996.71 that the city is paying is upgrades that we agreed to pay so that if this happens again, it's going to cost less money. So the insurance company is only willing to put things back the way they were. So this basement is carpeted, which costs $20,000 to replace. every time it happens. So we're just putting a finish on the concrete slab so that if this happens again, which it seems to be happening every 4 to 5 years, there won't be any carpet to replace the next time. And there's currently a shower pan, which is what overflows. So we're paying to replace that shower pan with a bathtub, so that if it's a smaller leak, we'll have or a smaller backup, we'll have a little bit more time to get it fixed before it starts damaging sheetrock and walls and things. So the extra cost isn't because the insurance isn't covering this. They're basically covering I believe they're covering everything we're asking them to. They're just not willing to do these additions.
Upgrades.
Yeah.
Okay. I have no problem consenting that then if it's what you recommend.
It is. I think it's the fastest way to get these people what they should have.
I agree. And Tim has a copy of that contract. I don't know why we don't have a copy of it. Would you mind burning some copies?
Yep.
That really should be up on the screen, regardless of whether or not we're going to consent it. It should be a public document for everyone to be able to see how that was set up and written up per our attorney's advice.
If we could redact the property owner's name though, please.
He said we cannot.
Yeah, the attorney said that we can't redact the property owner's name or any discussion about this since it is a public document and the homeowners are dealing with a government entity.
Okay.
They are aware that their address, their name, everything about this is going to be a public document, and they're okay with that.
Tim, I don't know if you're able to go print them. I got the email. We were focused on the work session for insurance, so I didn't get this printed for council. If you're able to get that printed for them.
Yeah.
I can't print from here.
Yep, I'll do it.
And then, Madam Clerk, would you mind scrolling down so that council can see, is there a fourth page to that? How it was calculated and what's coming through for the cost of that. And then the fifth page that's a little bit better diagram of the settlement cost analysis and claim.
Question.
Please.
I think to clarify Mr. Brandt's confusion, which was also my confusion, is we're gonna, way Tim phrased that is we're going to pay the 138,000, but insurance is then gonna reimburse us. That's correct?
Insurance will reimburse us
Says
for
124.
everything but the variance, correct? Yep. And the utility will take the variance out of
Sure.
professional services. Any questions about that? Okay, that brings us on to item G, request to council for an utility account write-off. In our packet, it's been out there since 2002 at a total cost of $56.49. We have tried to capitalize and call on this account. Unable to find whoever that utility account is, so we'd like to write it off. Any questions about this?
Why does this have to come to council? It's $56.
That's a great question for the director, but any write-offs that we have had have always come to council.
I think we can use some common sense in the future.
If we had common sense, I think we'd use it. Appreciate that. I'd be open to consent that item if someone would like to make that motion. Any further discussion? Okay, with that, we'll take a 7-minute break. Madam Clerk, are we ready?
Ms. Rolfe, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
We are ready.
Wonderful. Thank you. Welcome. Today is April 20th, 2026 to the regular council meeting, City of North Pole. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
At tonight's meeting, Mr. Claus,
Here.
Mr. Schuster,
Here.
Mr. Brandt,
Here.
Mr. Skips,
Here.
Mr. Williams,
Here.
Ms. Rolfe,
Here.
and Mayor Church.
Here.
All 7 are present.
Thank you. Please stand, remove your hats, and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty. Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you tonight with gratitude and thanks for the opportunity to serve the city of North Pole and North Pole area. We ask for your guidance. Remind us that leadership is a responsibility built on service and a genuine desire to do what is right for our community. We ask that you bring peace in these chambers and grant each person the wisdom to speak, the patience to hear, and the clarity of thought. In your most holy name we pray. Amen. Okay, Madam Clerk, with that, it brings us on to citizens' comments. Would you mind reading the disclaimer, please?
Any person wishing to speak on an item not on the agenda needs to sign up on the list located on the public testimony table. Respectful standards of decorum and courtesy should be observed by all speakers. Remarks should be directed to the council as a body rather than any one member of the council or staff. Comments are limited to 5 minutes, and I have nobody waiting online. So in person, you guys are ready to go.
Please state your name for the record and area of residence.
Greg Corbett, I live here in North Pole, and I'm your lone Fairbanks Planning Commissioner. So outside of the, everybody else is in Fairbanks or North, so I'm it. But anyway, we recently, last Tuesday, we had our monthly meeting, and most of you are probably all aware of these projects, but we did speak about the 3 items that were approved in the fast planning. So we really didn't vote on it. It was more of an information given to us. But the 3 things that are going to affect here in North Pole is Cary Street is going to be paved. My one concern on that was that it's only going to the cul-de-sac. It's not going out to St. Nicholas Drive, so it's my understanding. So I questioned that. The other, probably one of the larger items is on 8th Avenue. That's right there in front of the middle school and across from Holiday Heights, the walking path. They're going to completely repave that. They're going to take it from an 8-foot wide path to a 10-foot wide path, redo the bus shelter, and then they're not going all the way to Blanket Boulevard, but part of that is because of the slough there. But they are going to go all the way over and onto the railroad tracks and make the walking path through there. So I think that'll not only benefit the residents, but also the senior residents in Holiday Heights. I think that'll make a big difference there. The last one is on 5th Avenue. It's going to be a pedestrian crossing across the old Richardson Highway from the playground to railroad side over to the basketball courts, and I think that's much needed. They're going to paint the markings. There's going to be a path that extends from 5th Avenue down on the railroad side. And then there will be flashing lights there also to alert people when folks are crossing that. And I think it's a good idea because we have, from the city over into the basketball courts and quite a few people that are going back and forth in there. So those are the 3 Unfortunately, it's probably not going to happen until 2027 as far as funding and stuff. So, but it is on the books, and those are funded projects. So that's good news. One of the other things that we did talk about, the borough recently approved a $200,000 fund for cleanup. So that had it, I don't remember the original amount, but I know this boosted it quite a bit. And what it's for is like abandoned vehicles. If you know of one in the area, you can report it and the borough will take care of that. Or if you have a resident that is violating code, the borough can step in and help with the cleanup of those properties and stuff. So that's nice. And they do, like I said, and now if you have a cleanup area and you can't fund it yourself, you can apply and they can possibly help and with you with that cleanup project. So, but so those are the main ideas, and I just wanted to. I know most of you already knew about the three projects that were going on here. I just wanted to present the testimony and let you know that we are looking at it, and yeah, there's some bigger projects on the horizon for the borough. And so, any questions for me?
I'd just like to thank you, Mr. Corbett, for your volunteerism, and thank you for serving the city of North Pole and greater North Pole area by serving on the commission. It's a wonderful deal.
I appreciate it. Thank you guys for nominating me and letting me do it again. So, all right. Have a nice evening.
Take care, you as well. More citizens' comments. Yeah, please.
Good evening.
Please state your name for the record and area of residence.
Yeah, my name's Lance Stolke. I live on Evelyn Drive in the Baker subdivision. And the reason why I'm here this evening is to discuss something that I found out about just this last week. On Monday, I received a certified letter from the Department of Natural Resources that there was going to be a dewelling of the water table underneath the pool over at Westcott Pool for the purposes of lowering the water tables so that they could conduct repairs on the pool. The concerns that I was notified is because I have water rights on my property. A lot of people don't realize that you can get water rights or they just haven't gotten water rights. And that's why DNR was mandated and required to notify me. So I started running around to the local neighbors to find out if they knew anything about it, found out that the majority of my neighbors in the Baker subdivision, who all have wells, we are not on city water, that none of them were aware that this had happened and that the water table may have a significant impact on the community because we all have shallow water wells. My well is at 30 feet. My draw is at 30 feet. And they're talking about basically starting a draw to withdraw approximately 40 million gallons of water over a 28-day time frame at a rate of 1,200 gallons per minute. Now, obviously, this is a little bit of a concern when you're removing that much water from the water table because it's going to increase the aqua movement and the water table itself. Last year, because I have a grandson that plays football, I noted that they were putting in these wells over by the middle school, over by the football field and the baseball field. I went over and I was looking at them. I assumed they were just regular wells. And they were doing it for some purpose for the school. When I got this paperwork, I found out they're actually injection wells. And their intent is to draw the pool water, or I'm sorry, the water table down underneath the pool. So when they drain the pool, the water table does not push up on the pool itself and, of course, cause damage to the pool while they're trying to fix it in the first place. And because of all of this and the fact that I know my well's at 30 feet, and obviously if you're creating that much water movement, it's going to draw water. I live less than 300 feet from the parking lot. And we have other people here that actually live closer to the pool than I do. We're right on the other side of the slough from the middle school and from the pool. And ironically, the information that the borough provided to the city or to the state, they didn't mention that there were homes that close to the school or to the pool. It just shows the slough on the bottom of their map. The other thing they mentioned on their request to get this permit to pump this much water was that everybody in the city is on city water, which is completely erroneous. The entire Baker subdivision is all on wells, and they're all shallow water wells because we don't need to go, 300 feet. It's literally 8 feet underneath my home. Some of my neighbors their draw for their wells are as shallow as 18 feet. Their 26-foot proposal that they've sent into the Department of Natural Resources is obviously a lot deeper than some of my neighbors, and obviously it's very close to mine. So, and the other thing that comes into play here is they're going to draw this water down in the vicinity of the pool, but then they're going to take it out 100 yards and just past the football field and by the baseball field, they're going to re-inject it into the ground. Well, this is going to create an aquifer so that the water is circulating as they pump it, which will create a current in the water table. This is my belief. And I'm no aqua or hydraulic engineer, but I believe that all that water movement is now going to draw the contaminated waters outside the city, well, partially in the city, but outside of our little area over there. Because basically the way we are right now, we're protected because the way the water flows in the natural flow in the water table. And we have yet to be contaminated. So, I apologize.
I'll grant you more time.
All right, thank you, sir. So I had to submit a request because the state would not provide me any information when I talked to them telephonically, even though they knew who I was and they knew I had this permit and I had been notified. So I had to submit a request. Of course, you know how this works. So by Thursday, they told me, yes, we've received your request. And luckily, late Friday night, I did receive permission from them to download a file. I downloaded that file. There's 18 different stages in this file. Some of them are massive. Some of them are just a few emails back and forth between the state and the borough. But my concerns and my question was, how much water have they been doing or dewatering in the past? Because according to the state, they've had this permit since 2019. Well, early, and unfortunately, gentlemen and ladies here, I didn't have the opportunity to go through all 18 files. I started going through it. It was very obvious to me that they were not drawing the volume or the magnitude of water movement that they're talking about in this new permit. But I didn't find the answers right away. However, today I received information because I notified the mayor that I was coming to this meeting today to express concerns about what's going on over here and the fact that none of us knew that this was going on. And the boroughs, my understanding is basically like, we've been doing this. You don't have anything to worry about because you've never even noticed it. But today I was provided this information, which states that in all actuality, they have just barely moved half that volume of water. So what they're asking for is 1,200 gallons per minute to move 1,200 per minute. And the most they've ever moved in the past since 1977 is 600 gallons a minute. And they only did it for a couple of weeks, not for 28 days straight, where they're moving a capacity of 40 million gallons. Obviously, we're here to just express our concerns and make the city aware that this is actually going on in our community. And I think we all got kind of blindsided by this, that this is their intent. And if it wouldn't have been for football last year, I'd have never known those wells were in existence. So does anybody have any questions for me at all?
Please, Councilman Brandt.
I remember when they put those wells in, I thought the same thing as you, that they were wells to maybe water the fields or something with. I had no idea what they were going to be using them for. I will say I'm a little bit concerned because maybe 100 yards from those wells, we have that contaminated site at the pump house over there where we're monitoring the water. So I think maybe, Tim, you should look into that, because if they're going to be stirring up the water there, that's going to be an issue. My question is this going to be an annual thing that they're proposing to do? Because I know they do yearly maintenance on the pool.
Yes, and again, I apologize for going over time. But they're looking at a 5-year permit. They're going to do it annually for anywhere up to a month or 28 days to conduct and perform maintenance on the pool. So basically, they're saying they're going to do this every year for at least the next 5 years.
And to your knowledge, that they were not aware that people in Baker do not have city
No,
water? They were not aware of that.
I actually came in with a thumb drive, dropped it off earlier today, so that you guys would all have the opportunity to review everything that's been submitted. But on the actual permit that I was given, which is supposed to go into effect, by the way, on May 1st, which is just a couple of weeks down the road, that they said we were all on city water. And it is checked specifically on here, and they specifically say that all the residents are on city water. So in other words, I don't believe they checked at all.
Right. Have you made them aware of the fact that there are
The
wells in
borough?
the immediate area? Yeah.
No, I've been dealing with the state all week last week, just trying to get information, because I had, basically when I saw that it was the first, luckily I read this thing when it came in the mail. When I saw that it was supposed to start on the 1st of May, I was like, oh my gosh, I literally have about 20 days to get on this to find out what this is all about. I mean, just the sheer volume alone scared the hair right off of me. So,
Well, my email's on our website, and if there's anything I can do to help you out with this, let me know. Because
I really
it's a big
appreciate that.
concern.
Anybody else have anything at all? Right.
I just want to say thank you for bringing it to our attention at the city. I know that there was work going on at the pool. I didn't receive notice. I'm glad that you did. I didn't receive notice that that was even happening over there. So I appreciate that, and bringing in the thumb drives and the reports to be able to look over that. Dave Brindley is the Public Works Director at the Fairbanks North Star Borough, and his phone number is 907-459-1360. If this permit does get approved, and any one of your neighbors notices anything, immediately call him, and he has the ability to shut that project down until things get corrected. And then if there's any damages per the prior permit, I was able to see that on the thumb drive that you provided me earlier. On the 2020 permit that went for 5 years, it does stipulate in that permit that if there's any damages done, that the responsible party, which would be the Fairbanks North Star Borough, is liable for that, for those damages. So,
And if I may,
Please.
we do know of dewatering incidents in the area that have happened previously. Usually they're gravel pits where somebody digs a pit, dewaters the pit to remove or extract more gravel. And what ends up happening is it has a significant impact on the water table in that area. I'll just mention there might be one across the highway that is still affecting the water table over on that side of the highway. And that's been almost 9 or 10 years that I'm aware of. So when they mess with the water table, it does have a significant impact on the area.
and then the water quality too, not just the quantity, but the quality of the water. Bring that to his attention. You're more than welcome to call me as well, and I'd be happy to make that call with you.
And I appreciate that, Mayor. And I know that some of my neighbors have expressed that last year And it might just be a coincidence, but we had, our water got some odor to it. And it was like, wow, this never, and I'm very lucky, for, just so you guys know, I don't even have to have a water softener. I mean, my water, when I had it tested in my well, they said it was probably the most perfect water, especially in North Pole. So I really don't want to lose my well. And because I know everybody else has to delime, descale, and everything else. So I'm extremely fortunate. But this could just have a significant impact on our community. And it's not just 20 homes. You know, that whole Baker subdivision's what, 150 homes? Talking about a lot of stuff. So, and I believe other people want to speak, but we have had some water odorous activity happening. Of course, we didn't know when they were pumping or, you know, so I can't tell you it was at the exact same time. So, but thank you. Thank you, everyone.
I got one thing to say.
Councilman Williams.
I live over there where you guys live at. I haven't noticed anything yet. But I can tell you, if something changes, the wife will tell me. And then all of a sudden, some of you know my wife, but anyway, and she will jump in my case. And I would recommend that thumb drive, you go on there and find exactly where they said they would take care of it, okay? Because you know how government is. They're going to prolong it.
Well, I do.
And prolong it. And if that many of people are us is over there, I recommend we all get together and stick them. Okay? I can't be no more honest than that. Somebody dropped the ball. Okay? And if nobody picks up and says anything, then they're going to say it's all on us. Because
Exactly.
that's what the system does and that's how they do.
Well, and just so the council knows and everybody here knows, when I submitted my memorandum to the state, I asked for a cease and desist on the permit until we had aquatic and hydraulic engineering approve to us that none of this was going to happen. I'm just a mouse, but you know how that works. So hopefully they'll take that in consideration and suspend approving this permit. Because again, it goes into effect on May 1st. So,
One more thing, just
Yes, sir.
remember, a squeaky wheel gets greased.
yes, sir,
Okay.
I'm well aware of
And it
that too.
does.
So,
And I'd like a copy of that letter too, because if all of us turn around and send that letter off, somebody's going to look at that. Okay?
Roger that.
I have a copy of that letter that I can send out. I didn't want to send that out without your approval, but I'm more than happy to share that with the council
Would be more
and
than
the
happy.
entire thumb drive with them
Yes,
as
sir.
well. Okay.
Please do, just so everybody's aware of it.
Yep.
All right.
One quick question. You said there was a change in the odor of the water. What was the odor?
Well, it smelled musty. My wife was the first one that noticed. And it lasted for a few days and then it went away. And then it came a little bit again and then it went away. I didn't pay any attention to it. I figured, springtime, summertime, you know, the water table fluctuates, as we all know. That's why we all hope that our wells are below that fluctuation. I've been there for 35 years. I know that some of the other property owners have lived there since the houses were built. And they haven't had problems with their wells in the past unless it collapsed just from, you know, an earthquake or something like that. So, again, I'll let them all speak on, just want to let you guys know what's going on.
Oh, and one more thing.
Yes, sir.
You got my mind clicking here, but okay. What I would do is for all of us to start looking for a good attorney. All we need is one that's going to take it and run with it. Okay? That's all we need is one good attorney. So
So, yeah, I think first we need to get them to stop and desist on the permit until we can get gears going, because you know how this works. You know, it's going to be months before we get anybody to come in and do a hydraulic test or a hydro test or any kind of test on any of this to see what this really truly is going to do to our community. So thank you very much.
Thank you
I
for
had
your
one
testimony.
question.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you said that you had testing done on your well. When did you last have it tested?
Excuse me. I had my well tested, I believe it was 8 or 10 years ago, when I had my test done. And I had it done by the place in Fairbanks. And it was actually John, my neighbor, helped me. My well collapsed during the earthquake we had about 15 years ago, that real good shaker. And John helped me actually drive it with a jackhammer in my garage because the ground was frozen. And so my well's in my garage. And that's the only way we could get a well at the time. It was in November. So, but yeah, it's a couple days ago. I haven't had any problems with my well ever since.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. If you'd state your name and area of residence, please.
My name's Dwight Gower. I live off Evelyn Drive in the Baker subdivision. Purchased my house in 2021, and like 2 weeks later, the first call was to the city, asking why we didn't have city water. And that's when I found out that the Baker subdivision voted against it a long time ago. So I grew up in West Virginia, on a well my entire life, and having a well, it's pretty important to me. Mary answered the question already. The pool belongs to the borough. If there are damages in the future, we have to take it up with the borough. So I would just like to put out there what I would seek. And that would be for the borough or the Department of Natural Resources that would pay to put us on the city water. And then they would pay for me to have free water for the life of the residents and any kin that inherits my property. Since my well, it doesn't cost me anything but the 220 volt to pump the water out of the ground. My well is 32 feet. My pump sits at 16. If I go down and I stand in the 30-mile slough and look up the bank, I'm probably eye level with my pump. My water, I got it tested in 21. It tested good, but it does, like right now with the snow melting off, the taste and smell does fluctuate a little bit with how much water is going back into the ground. Other than that, I wasn't here last year. I was deployed. I deploy every other year, so I'm retiring this year, so I'm excited about that. But there are times in the summertime when I don't have black sand, I don't have dirt or in the filters. I can go 5 months without changing a filter. But I know some people change a filter every 2 to 3 weeks. But for some reason, in the summertime, there is a lot more earthiness that comes to the filter, some kind of black material. But I don't know if that's the cause of what's going on at the school or not. But I come support the neighborhood. Yeah, just put it out there. But you answered the question before I could ask it. If it was the city, the borough, or the DNR, or the state that we would have to seek damages from. So.
Thank you for your testimony this evening. Is your name and phone number on that sheet? At the end of the meeting tomorrow, I would like to present these name and numbers to the borough so that they can reach out to you independently to do interviews and ask questions about that water quality through Mr. Brindley at the borough, if that's okay. Hey, any questions?
Oh, I still think each and every one of us ought to shoot that information to the borough. I'll do the borough, the state, and everybody else around, get them all.
I'm gonna go tomorrow to the DNR and get my rights put in my name. I know they're in my documents where I purchased the house.
Yes, sir.
Because I also had water rights to the slough for agricultural use. So I'm gonna go change the names on that, and that way there's more than one of us getting notified when the DNR wants to do something. So.
Thank you for your testimony. Thank you for being here. Mr. Glidden.
I was just wondering if you guys are going to go to the borough council meeting also.
They have an assembly meeting this Thursday at the Juanita Helms Borough Assembly Chambers. Yeah. It starts at 6 o'clock, but I don't believe that their public testimony is at the beginning of the meeting. It begins at 6.
Anyone else for citizens' comments? Yeah.
Hello, my name is Gina Miranda, and I live in Baker subdivision. And we had our home built there about 45 years ago. Didn't know anything of what was going on until Mr. Dolke came. So I called DNR in Fairbanks and spoke with the Jonathan. He knew nothing of what I was asking. So then now Lance has answered, some of the questions that I had. But it is, our well is important to us, We raised a family there and, we love the neighborhood, but, we need our water. It's important to us. I just would like to say that. Then also, I had two other things that I wanted to ask. Last year, you guys paved from part of Evelyn Drive down to Palms, the new part that you guys paved, or someone paved it, the city paved it. And there's a trail in the island, and I would like to see or ask if you guys have future plans to make it a bicycle trail. Oh, Blanket, excuse me.
Yep.
Down Blanket.
And then
Blanket runs into Palms, and the new portion that they paved down to Palms, it has an island in the center, and it was all cleared, and they put rock in there. And I was wondering if there's a future expansion to pave it.
so that was built by the developer, and their intent was to not pave it, to leave it natural gravel. I know that there have been discussions about that, and that would really be the director of city services call as to whether or not we put that forth in the future for paving. I think as new as it is, to let it sit for a couple of years and sort of settle out isn't a bad idea before we go paving it. And I know it's on our public works plan to extend that where that trail is and extend the blankets so that they connect like they used to. When you probably built the house, there was a center trail that ran all the way down Blanket, all the way to Psalms Boulevard before it was Psalms Boulevard. So we plan on extending that trail, widening that out, and doing at least a trail system. It might not be paved yet, but a nice walking trail or BMX trail that you can be off of the road and walking on.
Right, because right now we're walking on the road.
Yeah.
And that leads me to my next question, and you might not be able to answer it, would be, can you guys put up some pet waste stations along the way, or would I need to go to them and ask them to do that? Because walking it, you see what's there on the ground, and it's, it kind of takes away from the enjoyment that you're having from trying to be out there to walk.
So we certainly can. I believe that there's a pet waste station at Fifth and Blanket up on the north end. There's also one, I believe, at Eighth and Blanket. So we certainly can put some more along that. Tim, will you take a note of that if you haven't already, to add at least a couple more waste bag and trash stations there along that Blanket Boulevard Trail? I think that makes a lot of sense. So thank you.
Okay. And that's all that I had. So I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Questions from council? All right. Thank you, Ms. Miranda. Further citizens' comments? Good to see you, Mr. Warnke. Thanks for coming out.
First, because you haven't aged since I graduated high school.
You don't mind stating your name for the record and area of residence, please?
John Warnke at 433 North Evelyn Drive, Baker subdivision, and I've been there since 1980. And Lance, of course, told me what was going on, And then listening to them, when it's going to the aquaflow, we all have septic and leach boxes there. My concern is what's going to happen if it draws all that stuff. Now it's a natural flow, it filters out. But if the water starts drawing that down, it's going to draw all that stuff into the, 20-foot water table, I assume. And that would affect the quality of my water coming to my house. Right now, I got clean water too. It was tested and it was perfect. I don't even have a filter on my well because it's so good. I'm in a good spot. So anyway, that's my comment.
All right, thank you for that. Please, Councilman Brandt.
Mr. Dalkey said that he was notified because he has water rights. Were you notified at all, or you didn't hear anything about this until he told you?
Talking to me?
Yeah.
No, I never, Lance told me about it. I didn't know you could get water rights.
So per the permit, in part of those documents that I'll send out, there are, I believe, 16 water rights within 1,000 feet of the dewelling location or dewatering location that were listed on the 2020 permit, but I don't believe that they're listed on their application that they submitted. Thank you for your testimony. Any other citizens' comments? So to speak to this just a little bit, I did reach out to Mr. Brinley at the borough, who sent over some dewatering facts on a worksheet here. It says that they have been dewatering the pool since 1977 to do annual construction on that. It does say here that they've used it on a DNR permit. The dewatering wells at 26 feet from the finished floor elevation, and that the typical water table in that area is about 9.6 feet. They have been dewatering, like Mr. Dalkey said, at 600 gallons per minute to draw that water table down at least 45 feet on occasion with and 5 foot at the well itself. The dewatering system has been operated on 3 recent occasions. In 2022, they did it for a couple of weeks during the initial pump and injection well testing, intermittently for 2023 for 2 or 3 weeks, and then in 2024 during the pool replastering, which lasted approximately 1 month, which is why you might have seen some fluctuations in your well smell, taste, and if you had any well issues. Thank you for bringing this to our attention. Really do appreciate that, and allowing me to try and find some facts. If you guys would like any of these fact sheets, be more than happy to hand these out if you'd like. Just come up and grab one if you'd like them. And
I just want to reach out. Sandra asked to make sure that she gets those documents that Mr. Dalkey provided, either through me or from you.
Super. Any other citizens' comments this evening? Hey, please, step forth. Please state your names, place of residence, and if your name and number is not on that sheet, if you'll add it, please. Thank you.
Caleb Leary and Haley Tanner, and we're at 940 Schellinger in the Stillmeyer Estate subdivision.
Thank you for joining us. If you wouldn't mind when you speak, just make sure that the light is on, or our councilwoman, Miss Rolfe, plus our recording system won't be able to pick you up, okay?
Okay.
Thank you very much. And you can move that mic around to wherever you'd like, drag it around.
So we talked with you a little bit earlier about this, but back in December, we had a pipe burst during the really cold month. And then we're new time homeowners. That was only 3 months into owning the home. It burst. The city was able to hire a company for us to fix the damage and everything. We were under the influence, our insurance would cover most of it, but they weren't able to. They found in our policy it wouldn't cover it. We were prepared to pay the bill, but we weren't expecting it to be so high. The bill, it did end up being $65,000. And so we were just kind of seeking advice on what to do or how to handle that. And then also it was underneath the street in front of our house and they had to dig up the street right there. And we were also kind of just wondering if you guys could help us with repairing the road in front of our house as well.
Really just wondering if there's any resources or any city resources available to us. Thank you.
Please, Councilman Brandt.
Where did the water pipe burst? Was it at the street? Is that where it burst?
It was
Or in your house?
underneath the street in front of our house, our service line to the main line.
Got it. Okay.
Councilman Schuster.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask what are most of like the 65,000 in damages?
It was for the excavation to rent that during to dig up the pipe down in there.
And I believe it was 42,000 was the total for just the excavation truck, and then an extra 1,000 for additional costs, of course.
Director Glidden, would you like to speak to this at all?
Yeah, so the break happened on the service line from between the main and the house. It caused extensive damage to the area. The utilities department called Blackhawks, and they used a hydro excavator to get down to the main so that they could shut it off to mitigate the damage a little bit. And then they found it to be frozen on one of the service lines, so they left one open and they closed the damaged one so that the water could be left on at a trickle inside their house so that the second line wouldn't freeze while they were trying to decide if they want to get it fixed or wait until the summer. And then it was during that month of about 40 below for a month. So Blue Diamond couldn't keep using their hydro excavator at that temperature. So they had to pull back for a week or two. I don't know how long it was, but before they could continue, fix the problem and fill it back in. And then the pavement still's not been repaired yet, but I heard that Blue Diamond's intending on replacing it still.
Please, Councilman Brandt.
What kind of damage was done? Was it no damage to your house? You're talking about damage to the street and the yard area?
Yeah, just damage to that pipe under the road. And then it was pretty bad. It was leaking the entire street, like going pretty far down, affecting like all the neighbors. So that's when we contacted the city utilities, the emergency line for them to get in there. And then that's when they shut it off. And then they weren't able to use the truck until it was at least a -20 and warmer, I think. And then that's when it was like -40 for like a month. So we had to just keep waiting and running our water until then.
You guys have a circ pump in your house that circulates and run the line, and was that on during this incident?
Yes, we do, yeah, and then that was running, yeah, and so we're not sure if there was like power outage or if something went wrong with it, but we were thinking about that.
It did when we got the home. It had like a plug-in. It wasn't like its own line. And then Blue Diamond recommended after that to rewire it, and we had that done. So now it's its own rewired, but we're not sure if the power went out or if something went because it was just a plug-in into the outlet and yeah.
But now it's rewired to like to the breaker, which I think is now like up to the city code. I
Please, Councilman Schuster.
I have one more just because I'm a little confused. So after what Tim said, is the city charging this because we hired Blue Diamond to come out and fix this, or this was, you guys hired Blue Diamond?
The city hired them on our behalf, like, they gave them our number and then Blue Diamond, was already like stopping everything, like the water from affecting the neighbors and.
So in our code, if there is a freeze, a bust, a leak, the utilities has the right to contact and contract to find out the source and shut it off so that before it creates problems for everybody else. So they did contact Blue Diamond, but Blue Diamond is, once they found out it was on the service line and not on the main, then it became the responsibility of the owners.
Councilman Brandt.
I'm just curious how far off of the main was the break?
I don't have an exact measurement, but probably like 10 feet.
Oh, that far, okay.
The main is on the other side of the road. So they dug across the street and the main goes under the road, completely under the road over to their house.
Any further questions? Thank you for joining us this evening and thank you for showing up. Appreciate it.
thank you for letting us speak.
Anyone else for citizens' comments this evening before we close that and move on? Okay, we'll consider citizens' comments closed. That brings us on to item 5, approval of the agenda. Get a motion, please, to approve.
Move to approve the agenda for this evening
Second.
and move to amend the agenda.
So moved and seconded by Councilman Claus and Williams. Please state your amendment.
Amendment is under 12 new business to address items E, F, and G to consent to those items individually. Should I go through each one, Mayor?
Yes, if you would, please.
All right, thank you.
And then we'll take the vote independently.
Thank you. So E is request to council clerk professional development salary step increase. F is request to council utility backup damage renovations, and G is request to council utility account write-off request. Thank you.
And I heard a second for the first motion. Is there a second for the consent agenda?
Second.
So moved by Councilman Claus and seconded by Councilman Brandt. Discussion? Okay, I would like to ask that we pull off item E off of the consent agenda. I appreciate the letter, but I am curious about what the steps are to professional development, since those are nowhere in our city code. When that was attained, and then I also have questions about how many professional development increases have been received, and what are the next steps of professional developments in this position, I think are all very important questions to ask. Please, Councilman Brandt.
Our HR department has all of that information as far as what's required for the step increases. And my question is, have you ever, since you've been on council or mayor, questioned any other employee's step development increase ever?
That's a good question. I'll have to think about that. Councilman Schuster.
I was just gonna call a point of order. if you decide that you want to pull it off the consent agenda, you can, but I don't think this is a time for discussion on the topic.
So right now, the motion is motioned by Santa, seconded by Brandt to pull E, F, and G from the agenda and place them on consent. Would you like me to call the roll?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Mr. Brandt,
Yes.
Mr. Skips,
No.
Mr. Claus,
Yes.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Miss Rolfe,
Yes.
Mr. Schuster.
Can you explain the vote one more time?
So the motion was moved by Santa, seconded by Mr. Brandt to pull E, F, and G from the regular agenda to move it to consent.
Yeah, I guess I'm just a little confused because if somebody wants one item pulled off, they could, right?
Right now, the motion that was moved and seconded is one lump item. It was moved by Santa, seconded by Brandt to pull 3 items from the agenda and place them on consent.
Okay, no.
And Mayor Church.
No. Would anyone like to change their vote?
And on the agenda for this evening, Mr. Williams.
Sorry, Madam Clerk, could we get the countdown on the vote,
Oh.
please, for the amendment
Sure.
before moving forth?
Sure. I guess usually I do that after both of them, but this evening, the consent agenda was approved by 4 yeses and 3 nos.
Thank you. Are there any other amendments to the agenda this evening? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
And the approval of the agenda for this evening, Mr. Williams?
Which one we doing?
The entire, the agenda as amended for this evening.
I say yes.
Mr. Brandt?
Yes.
Mr. Schuster?
Yes.
Mr. Claus? Ms. Rolfe?
Yes.
Mr. Skips?
Yes.
Mayor Church?
Yes. Would anyone like to change their vote?
And that passed with 7 yeses.
Thank you. Madam Clerk or Madam Deputy Clerk, if I could remind you to rotate that camera around since nobody is in our chambers. Just so that the citizens who are watching have something to look at. That brings us on to item 6, approval of the minutes. Could I get a motion to approve, please?
Move to approve the minutes from April 6th, 2026, Committee of the Whole minutes. And also B, April 6th, 2026, regular meeting minutes.
Approve.
So moved by Councilman Claus and approved. I'll consider that a second by Councilman Williams. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
On the approval of the minutes, Mr. Claus?
Yes.
Mr. Skips?
Yes.
Ms. Rolfe?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Brandt?
Yes.
Mr. Schuster?
Yes.
Mayor Church?
Yes. Would anyone like to change their vote?
Minutes were approved with 7 yeses.
All right. Brings us on to communications from the mayor. Gosh, I guess I'll start off with the highway improvement program. If you have not looked at the HSIP, Highway Safety Improvement Program, please do so, state.gov. Look at the local projects that are happening here in the Fairbanks area. I sent out an email earlier this afternoon on the extension, expansion, widening, and bike path of Holmes Road. 2 weeks ago, we had a discussion about the PD Nordale roundabout at an open house. It's important for all community members to be aware of what's happening here in our town related to the Highway Safety Improvement Program. For calendars, April 22nd from 2 to 4 here at North Pole City Chambers. We will be saying farewell to our CFO, Ms. Fogarty. So please come down with a card, cookies, a drink, and enjoy some time with her before she enjoys her well-deserved retirement. That's April 22nd from 2 to 4. The North Pole High School fast pitch softball is still looking for sponsorships, along with the North Pole High School Booster Club, who is looking for an additional $1,600 to provide graduation signs and banners for those graduating seniors. So if there's anybody interested in sponsoring either one of those, please reach out to the North Pole High School Booster Club. April 25th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Last Frontier Community Center is Retiree Appreciation Day. This is across all branches of the military. Anyone who has retired, that's April 25th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Last Frontier Community Center on Fort Wainwright. April 28th at the North Pole Library, we are going to have the Fifth Avenue Park Playground Design Open House. Our little Fifth Avenue Park down here. They're looking at redesigning that and what our community members want to see in that park, what would be advantageous to have, how it should be designed. What can all and will be discussed at the April 28th open house at the North Pole Library from 4:30 to 7:30. I'm Happy Springs here, and we're getting real close to cleanup day. Bag pickups for cleanup day and registration for your group areas are going to open up here on May 4th. Cleanup day is officially scheduled for May 16th. May 8th is the Military Appreciation Banquet at the 8-Star Event Center. And then August 1st and 2nd, the Arctic Lightning Air Show will be out here, and they are looking for any booth sponsors, anybody who wants to set up. I have a flyer here if you're interested in doing sponsorship for that, getting your name out there. Please reach out to Sophie Hackert at 377-3268 to be a sponsor of our Arctic Lightning Air Show that's happening August 1st and 2nd. That's it for me. Any council member questions of the mayor?
Mayor, I have a couple of questions.
Please, Councilman Claus.
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure, since several of the council members have asked the city attorney to look into and give us an idea how much it might cost and what the time schedules might be for looking into researching a city manager form of government and creating a policy manual for the city, and also revising our city code so that it's comprehensive and accurate. That's still going forward as far as you know.
I think that's a great idea. This is the first you've brought it to me, other than mentioning it about 3 different times at a council meeting.
Thank you.
Since the clerk works for you, if that's something that you would like to talk to the attorney about, I would suggest going through the clerk.
All right.
Related to those items.
That's great. Thank you.
You bet.
Second question. You've made an effort to make sure that a lot of the people that have businesses here within the city of North Pole have business licenses for a lot of reasons. Wanted to support the chamber and also to fill the coffers here in the city a little bit. And I was doing my due diligence, looking through some of the old paperwork and stuff. And on a couple of APOC forms, I found a few things that don't correspond. So I'm wondering, I have a business license here. I'm not sure if you do. I don't know if the other council members have businesses here that have business licenses or not. And I'm kind of curious. Would anybody in the council, is it appropriate for me to ask if we all have our businesses licensed here?
That's questions of the mayor. I can't answer that. What might be better asked is of our new, maybe talk with the CFO and see if that's something that he could put, or Madam CFO could put the new clerk we have who handles business licenses on that. That might be a better way to.
That's probably a good idea, because I was
find that information out.
Because I was noticing some things that are listed on our website as businesses here in the city of North Pole are not licensed. So that's what I was curious about. But I will definitely take your suggestion and look into that the other way. Thank you.
You bet. Any other questions of the mayor? Okay, with that, brings us on to communications from department heads and borough representatives and the city clerk. Item 9, let's start with a borough representative. Do we have a report from a borough representative?
We did not have a borough representative at the last borough meeting.
Okay. Madam Clerk.
I welcomed Will at the last meeting, and I want to welcome him again. Will's doing a wonderful job, but I just wanted to say, Tricia, working with you for the past 3 years, you've taught me so much about the city. You're like a human encyclopedia of everything that's happened at the city of North Pole, and Will is a wonderful replacement. He has big shoes to fill, and I just wanted to thank you. You've been a pleasure to work with.
Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk. Director Glidden.
So I want to thank Trish for everything she's done for helping me get to where I'm at right now. In the last year, she's worked with me a lot, taught me a lot. I don't know anything about counting, so it was, it was a lot of questions. Right. Right. I would disagree with Emily. I think Will is garbage and he should. Oh, no, sorry. He's been helping quite a bit. I ask him a lot of questions too. So, see, where do I want to start? Junk in your trunk on June 20th. We've got a couple of event permits have been put in and approved. So June 20th, they're doing junk in the trunk again. And July 4th parade has been approved also. So we've talked quite a bit about the sewer effluent outfall, and we've got a couple of projects going through right now where we're trying to get back into compliance with that. But I worked with HUD and Lisa Murkowski's group to reappropriate $2.5 million from a grant that we weren't using to use on this sewer outfall. I just got the grant agreement this morning, so we're gonna put it on the agenda for the next council meeting for you guys to approve, but that'll give us $2.5 million to go towards the sewer outfall program. I put out an RFP for solar panels to request local companies or anybody, I guess, really, to give us some information about what it would cost to put solar panels on specific buildings in the city, and then what kind of benefit we might get. I put that out on Thursday. It's a really tight deadline because there's currently a federal grant, I guess that you would call it, but they'll pay back 50% of the cost as long as you've started construction before July 4th. So in order to get procurement and to get into contract and to start doing any work, Emily and I figured out that we had to have the ad in the newspaper by 2 p.m. the day we were talking about it. So we had to push to get it so that it could be open on Thursday, so that we can get the bids on the 30th. And then on the 4th of May, I'm going to invite everybody that bids to come and talk to you guys directly and give you their sales pitch. The bids will already have been turned in, so they will be able to talk about the dollar amounts, and they'll be able to talk directly about other bids also. But then I'll put on the agenda for the May 20th council meeting to see if you guys want to approve any or all of the solar panel projects. So that's happening now. We hauled away a lot of snow down Holmes Road and Homestead Road, not Holmes Road. Thank you. Yeah. So we hauled a bunch of snow away, and we're watching to make sure that we're doing everything we can to keep the culverts opened up so to limit the flooding as much as we can. I don't have any updates on the Protect grant for the stormwater system, but it is, we are working our way through it. So hopefully something will happen from that. I think that's probably enough. If you guys got any questions? Yep.
Councilman Brandt.
Going back to the solar, you said tonight that construction had to start by July 4th, but when I talked to you before, you said that a deposit just had to be made by then.
So that's,
And I know Will is very knowledgeable in this from his past experience, so.
Researching it, there's it's before July 4th, 2026, and it's under 1.5 megawatt, 5% safe harbor would apply before July 4th, 2026, 5% down, or construction has to be started, continuous work, there's a few exclusions, weather, stuff like that, but that would extend the due date to 12/31/2030. If work started the next day after July 4th, the due date would be 12/31/2027 because of the last phase out of the Inflation Reduction Act. And then the big beautiful bill closed those credits. So that's kind of why there's two different windows. You apply before, you get it before the 4th, you have till the 2030. After the 4th, you have till 12/31/2027 for the project.
So if we're not able to start construction because they have to order materials or something like that, as long as we have the 5% deposit down, we would still qualify for the 50%.
12/31/2027.
Right. Perfect. Thank you.
yeah, so that's part of the timeline. We wanted to make sure that we were in contract by June 4th so that we could make a deposit, have things on order, have some plans being engineered by their people so that we've got enough stuff happening by July 4th that we feel like we're going to meet the requirements. That's the idea. That's why the council would see it on May 20th so that we'll have a full month before the deadline to get started.
Okay, thank you. See, go ahead. Councilman Williams. Sorry, I didn't see your hand.
Which money are we looking at? No payment.
It's hard to say because every building is going to be different, but the solar farm that's on Badger Road, they just put in a couple of years ago. I was told that was 2.5 million, and that's 1 megawatt. So that should be more than what we would need for the city, but we're going to have them on individual buildings. So it might cost similar, it might cost more. It's hard to say. But the idea of this is to find out costs per building. So they're gonna, in their proposals, it'll say, City Hall building is gonna cost, whatever, $200,000, and it's gonna take however long to pay it back, whatever they're gonna, and you'll be able to vote on which of the buildings. It won't have to be an all or nothing. You know what I mean? So if it ends up being $40 million, we won't have to agree to spend $40 million or nothing. We could agree to spend $20,000 on, a light pole or something.
Something I want you to think about, okay? I know you have, but I just got to say it. We got to make sure that the roof is up tight, that we don't have any, weight, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yep.
You got to make sure the roof is up tight and make sure that when we put the what's the names up, that the snow won't cover it up. Am I making sense?
Yep.
Okay, but you knew about that, right?
Yep.
Okay. I
you.
figured that, but I just had to say it.
Any other council comments or questions? Okay, that moves us on to the financial department. Madam, Mr. CFO, who would like the mic?
Well, I'm leaving you in good hands. Will's going to be great. And we have the second reading of this fiscal note tonight, and we're working this week to put another one together for some other, as you can imagine, the attorney bill is up front and need to shore up. Okay.
Please, Councilman Brandt.
I have a question for Will. How do you pronounce your last name?
Harluck,
Pardon?
HARA-LUCK.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for that. That brings us on to item 10, ongoing projects. We have none. 11, unfinished business. Can I get a motion, please, to adopt ordinance 2026-03?
Move to adopt ordinance 2026-03, second budget amendment.
Second, Skips.
So moved and seconded. A staff report.
So this whole thing is for utilities. Can I take yours? So what happened is that we had a lot of projects coming up this year, and we didn't want to overshoot the budget. So we felt like we would just, once we've approved the projects, we'd come back and fix things up. But since then, we've talked to our attorney, and that's not the way it should be done. So this will be the last time we do this. From now on, when I bring a contract up for a specific project, I'll also have the new CFO bring one of these every time I come in with a contract. If we don't already have the funds in the line item, then we'll have to create one of these for every project. So I just wanted to put that out there, that there's probably going to be a lot more of these. You know, every time I have a project, we're going to have to bring another one in unless we over budget in the professional services. So that's what she's talking about. They're working on another one. I'll be bringing in another project for the effluent discharge. But that'll be next week. Anyway, so this one's just to shore up projects that we've already got on the books.
Madam Clerk, can we scroll down to see the ordinance there? Thank you. Thank you very much. Any questions on the adjustments? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew there's nobody hanging out online for public comment and there's nobody in the room for public comment. On ordinance 2026-03, second budget amendment, Mr. Schuster,
Yes.
Mr. Claus,
Yes.
Ms. Rolfe,
Yes.
Mr. Brandt,
Yes.
Mr. Skips,
Yes.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
and Mayor Church.
Yes. Would anyone like to change their vote?
That passed with 7 yeses.
Okay, and that brings us on to item B, a request to council. I need a motion to approve the request, please.
Move to request approval of ROV in-service tank inspection proposal 2026, which was postponed from the regular meeting of April 6th, 2026.
Second, Skips.
Thank
So
you.
Moved and seconded. Thank you very much. Staff report, Mr. Glidden.
So we have 2 above ground water tanks with our utility system that need to be visually inspected every 5 years. We talked about this last meeting, but we chose to postpone it because I wasn't able to get attorney approval on the contracts. I have their approval for both contracts. So my current recommendation would be to go with Cortec, which is who did our inspections last time.
All right. Thank you very much for that. Madam Clerk, do we have anybody signed up to speak to this?
I do not.
Council discussion on this. Councilman Brandt.
You said earlier that Vision Subseeds schedules filled up.
Yes.
And so what about Cortex? Would they be able to do it in our time frame?
Yes.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Ooh.
Please. Councilman Williams.
When those guys come up and do that check, wouldn't our guys be able to watch what they do so they can learn? I know they can't do it because you need a certificate, but down the road, if they see something that's unusual, they can, say, we need to get these guys in here to do this inspection because I see this is unusual. Our guys will be able to look over their shoulders and learn,
Yes,
right?
definitely. As long as there's no emergencies happening,
Okay.
there will be 100% participation in this inspection.
Okay, all right, that's good.
Yep.
Councilman Brandt.
So I move that we accept Cortex proposal.
I'll second that.
Yeah, so the motion is to approve Tim's recommendation. And if Tim's recommendation is Cortec, was that my understanding?
Yes.
So the original motion is acceptable.
Okay, great.
That's a good clarification. Thank you, Mr. Brandt. Any further discussion on this? Madam Clerk, please call the roll on the request to council for Cortec.
On the request to council, Mr. Claus,
Yes.
Ms. Rolfe,
Yes.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Skips,
Yes.
Mr. Brandt,
Yes.
Mr. Schuster,
Yes.
and Mayor Church.
Yes. Would anyone like to change their vote?
That passed with 7 yeses.
Thank you. I'd like to move to suspend the rules for 5 minutes on a restroom break since we're getting into the 8:20 hour.
Okay.
Second.
I was going to.
Madam Clerk. Okay, we're back on the record. Thank you for the break. That brings us to item 12, new business. Can I get a motion, please, to introduce item A?
Move to introduce ordinance 2026-04, amending 2.14.350 compensation.
Second, Skips.
So moved and seconded. Could I get a staff report, please?
So this ordinance does a couple things. First of all, it gets rid of the committee the whole half an hour before the meeting. Excuse me. That's not really the way the committee of the whole is supposed to work. So several months ago, the way it used to be is, on Friday, we got our meeting packet, and then the meeting was on Monday. So we had the weekend basically look over stuff, and all of the mail department heads have Mondays or Fridays off. So if we had questions at all, it would have to go till, hopefully get an answer on Monday. So we moved that to, to provide the packet to us 10 days prior. City of Fairbanks and the borough both have their committee of the whole the week before the meeting. And that's when they go over everything. And then if they have questions as staff, they can ask them and the staff can research it and get back to them and things like that. We don't do that. We do it a half an hour before the meeting. We sit here, talk about what's going to be on the meeting, and then half an hour later talk about it again. So I just think it's not being utilized the way it's supposed to be. And so I just think it's a waste of everybody's time. One of the things we do during the committee of the whole is talk about things.
Point of order. Are you discussing 04 or 05?
I'm sorry, I'm on 05, aren't I? Okay, I apologize. Can we just keep going with the 05, or do you want to go back to 04?
I'm sorry, into the mic, Madam Clerk.
Did I understand correctly? Did they approve they approved?
That's fine. I'll just go and
Yes.
talk on 04. Thank you, Jordan.
I seconded 04.
Yeah, Santa and Skips
right, okay.
approved 04.
So this, so currently we get paid $100 for a work session. And there's not a single one of us up here that's doing this for the money. The mayor is continually causing issues with us requesting work sessions because he doesn't want to pay for them. So this will eliminate that. The other thing it does is lowers the meeting, the representative for the borough from $175 per meeting down to $100 per meeting. Again, we're not doing this for the money. So I personally, I don't think we should be paid at all for doing that. I think there's 21 meetings per year at the borough. There's 7 of us. Each one of us could go to 3 meetings, and it wouldn't be that much of an issue. But in our charter, it does say that we have to assign a representative to the borough. So anyway, long story short, it lowers it from $175 down to $100.
Thank you for the staff report. And Councilman Brandt, appreciate that. Do we have anyone signed up for public testimony online?
I have
or
nobody
in
signed
the
up.
room?
I have nobody signed up online and nobody in the room for this ordinance.
Okay, that brings us to council discussion. Councilman Claus.
Thanks, Mayor. I agree with Councilman Brandt. And one thing I would like to add is that if we do drop the compensation for the work sessions, that we limit the number of work sessions per month whether it's one or two or whatever, and put in there that council members cannot be compelled to attend a work session. Thank you.
Any other comments? Oh, Councilman Brandt.
Just asking if that was an amendment or.
Just discussion.
Councilman Brandt.
Well, on Mr. Claus's recommendations there, I would not want to see us limit the number of work sessions just because you never know when we need a work session on something. And then as far as saying you're not compelled to come to a work session, we're not really compelled to come to a meeting either. So I think it's necessary, but if you want to make the amendment, then that's fine.
Further discussion.
I don't think I would put forth an amendment. I just wanted the discussion to occur here amongst the council members. Thank you.
Madam Clerk, I have a question about the title and chapter of this ordinance. Would you mind pulling this up in city code? As it's stated here, chapter 2, 4.
Is it because the agenda says chapter 14? Because it's actually chapter 12.
Well, the agenda says that, but so does the ordinance.
Oh, well, I do apologize. It is it's title 2, chapter 12. And I missed that when I was, I can still pull it up on city code if you'd like. I just didn't get it corrected in time for the meeting.
I'd like to move to amend that to reflect chapter 12. So title 2, chapter 12, section 350, compensation.
I would second.
Any discussion on that? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
On the amendment to reflect chapter 12 rather than 14, Mr. Schuster,
Yes.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Skips,
Yes.
Mr. Brandt,
Yes.
Mr. Claus,
Yes.
Ms. Rolfe,
Yes.
Mayor Church.
Yes. Any further discussion on this
That,
ordinance? Yeah,
yeah, that amendment passed with 7 yeses.
thank you very much. I assume no one would like to change their vote. We're in good shape. Any further discussion, please?
I
Councilman
just have a question. The budget meetings, are those considered work sessions or?
Those are work sessions.
They are.
Thank you.
You bet. Any further discussion on this? Please, Councilman Brandt.
I just want to say I was the City of North Pole's representative on the Borough Planning Commission for a number of years, and we had work sessions before almost every meeting, and they were extremely informative. And the fact that we're not having them now, it does bother me. And so if we eliminate the pay for it, hopefully we will have more work sessions, so we are better informed. And like I said, when I was on the Borough Planning Commission, we got zero compensation. I mean, we didn't get paid for meetings, we didn't get paid for work sessions, we didn't get paid gas, and never once complained about that. I'm not doing this for the money, and I don't think anybody else up here is doing it for the money either. So that's why I recommended this.
I do just want to clarify that our charter, this compensation will not affect current members of council. It'll be new members. So it'll ride out as it is as you're elected for your terms, and then it'll affect the next seat. So I know you guys are making change, but the change isn't going to be made until after you vacate your seat. Just wanted to clarify that.
Councilwoman Rolfe, did you have a question?
No, I did not.
Okay.
I would agree with Mr. Brandt. I think the work sessions are very informative, and I'm hoping that with this change, they'll be more utilized. The work session we had earlier today was very informative.
Please, Councilman Skips.
Yeah, my comment on that is I understand, a lot of people aren't doing this for the money. They want to do it because they want to help the community. But on the other note, time is valuable to a lot of people too. And time is very valuable to me because of my kids and my wife and spending family time. So, with work sessions, the statement saying now we can have more work sessions. At what point? Are we gonna have it at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, which I can't do because I'm not gonna use my leave. So that's why time is a value to me. Thank you.
Any further discussion on this? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
On ordinance 2604 compensation as amended, Mr. Skips,
Yes.
Mr. Brandt,
Yes.
Miss Rolfe,
Yes.
Mr. Claus,
Yes.
Mr. Schuster,
Yes.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
and Mayor Church.
Yes. Would anyone like to change their vote?
This first reading passed with 7 yeses.
Okay, thank you. That brings us on to ordinance 2026-05. Can I get a motion, please, to introduce?
Move to introduce City of North Pole Ordinance 2026-05, an ordinance of the City of North Pole, Alaska City Council amending Title II, Chapter 14, Section 030, Council Meeting Time and Place.
Second, Skips.
So moved and seconded. Could I get a staff report on this, please?
Yeah, so back to what I was saying before, this eliminates a committee of the whole half an hour before the actual regular city council meeting. And on top of that, it would start the meeting at 6 p.m. rather than 7 p.m. And the reason I did that, talking with staff that attends the meetings, they don't go home when they get off work at 5 o'clock. They stay here until 6:30 when our meetings start. So if we can start it at 6 for them, that would save the taxpayers a lot of overtime and also save our staff time. The borough assembly meetings start at 6 and it's not an issue with them, and they've been doing that for years. So the other thing that this will do is create a consent agenda, because that's one of the things that we do during the committee of the whole, like we did this evening, talked about things and then consented them. We didn't save any time by doing that. We could have talked about those during the regular meeting and then decided, but what this will do is there would automatically be, when we get our agenda, there will be a consent agenda on there already. Any item that will be consented will have an asterisk next to it. And I've put in here that any one council member can pull anything off the consent agenda to speak about it. Now that we're getting our packets 10 days in advance, I would hope that if somebody does have questions about something, they can reach out to staff to get the answers, their questions answered before the meeting, or at least let them know that they are going to pull it from the consent agenda so they can attend the meeting. So,
Okay, thank you for your staff report. I appreciate that. Do we have anybody signed up for public testimony?
I have nobody signed up for public comment.
Okay, that brings us on to council discussion. Please, Councilman Schuster.
I have a proposed amendment on line 22. Commence at 6. I would like to amend so it reads commence at 6:30 p.m. and shall adjourn at 10 p.m.
Thank you for writing down your amendment.
Second.
So moved and seconded. Discussion on the amendment.
Yeah, I think 6 is probably too early for the city of North Pole, I think 7 is probably, it sounds weird, but it's probably late for a lot of people. But I just think since we're in the city of North Pole, most of our residents probably work in Fairbanks. So by the time they drive, pick up kids maybe, and our public testimonies at the beginning of the meeting, I think it cuts it close for a lot of people. The other thing would be work sessions. A lot of those would be starting at 5, and I know there's quite a few council members that get off work at 5 o'clock. And so I think it just creates a little bit of a conflict there.
Okay, thank you for the Councilman Brandt.
I did think about that also, but we could still have a work session at 6 and start the meeting at 7. There's nothing saying that we can't do that. We just can't start the meeting before 6. And as far as moving the time of the meeting till 6, like I said, I spoke with staff about this, and that's their preference. Like I said, the Borough Assembly meetings start at 6, and there's, North Pole residents go there all the time. So go ahead.
When is their public testimony?
We have several different public testimonies throughout the evening, but they do have it early on also.
Yeah, my concern is somebody that gets off work at 5, goes home, has to pick up kids, go home, and they're not home till 6, and public testimonies at 6:05, That's my greatest concern is, yes, I appreciate the staff's time, but I mean, these meetings are one of the citizens' only outlet to come and have conversation and testify in front of us.
I'm against removing the committee of the whole, as witnessed this evening. Those items that we moved to the consent agenda at the beginning.
So right now we're on the amendment that changes it as
I
written.
apologize.
Yeah.
Thank you for that point of order, Madam Clerk. I appreciate that. Any further discussion on the amendment? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
On the amendment to change line 22 from 6 to 6:30 PM, Mr. Skips,
Yes.
Mr. Claus,
No.
Mr. Brandt,
No.
Miss Rolfe,
No.
Mr. Williams,
No.
Mr. Schuster,
Yes.
Mayor Church.
Yes. Would anyone like to change their vote?
This amendment failed 4-3.
Further discussion on this ordinance, Council? I would like to make an amendment to correct the title, chapter, and section of this ordinance to reflect Title 2, Chapter 12, Section 030.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Please call the roll on that amendment.
On the amendment correcting ordinance to Chapter 12 from 14, Mr. Claus,
Yes.
Mr. Skips,
Yes.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Schuster,
Yes.
Mr. Brandt,
Yes.
Miss Rolfe,
Yes.
and Mayor Church.
Yes. Would anyone like to change their vote?
This amendment passed with 7 yeses.
Further discussion on this ordinance, Council? Yeah, I guess that's my time. Thank you for your point of order earlier, Madam Clerk. For the committee of the whole to be wiped out, the items that we discussed earlier during the committee of the whole, I don't know if we would have had the full information, because based on the agenda item that we have in front of us for, let's say, item F, request to council utility backup damage renovations, that really was discussed in the committee of the whole and should have been approval of the mayor to sign the contract or settlement contract to provide settlement to the occupant at the utility damage renovation. So I think it's super important that we have a committee of the whole to talk about certain items like that during the committee of the whole and allow us to discuss before we actually get into the meeting and have to make a decision, allowing you time to think about things that you may have learned during the committee of the whole. Councilman Brandt. Thank you. I wasn't sure if you were grabbing the mic or what you were doing.
Again, there's no sense in talking about something half an hour before we talk about it again. Those same questions could have been asked during the meeting when the agenda item came up. If it's on the consent agenda and you have questions about it, you have 10 days to contact staff or whoever you need to talk to and ask questions to. It's just, again, it's a waste of time to talk about something half an hour before we talk about it again. And if you want to pull that from the consent agenda, instead of, having a vote on it like we did tonight, it just takes one council member can pull anything they want from the consent agenda.
Any further discussion? Okay, Madam Clerk, seeing none, please call a roll.
On ordinance 2026-05, council meeting time and place as amended, Mr. Williams,
I would say, yes.
Mr. Schuster,
Yes.
Mr. Skips,
No.
Mr. Claus,
Yes.
Mr. Brandt,
Yes.
Ms. Rolfe,
Yes.
Mayor Church.
Yes. Would anyone like to change their vote?
That passed with 6 yeses and 1 no.
Okay, that brings us on to item C, ordinance 2026-06. Can I get a motion, please, to introduce?
Move to introduce City of North Pole Ordinance 2026-06, an ordinance of the City of North Pole, Alaska City Council, amending Title II, Chapter 12, Section 60, Order of Business.
Second, Skips.
Thank you.
So moved and seconded. Thank you. Any staff report, please?
Okay, this one actually does 3 things. The first one you see on here is Spotlight on North Pole Business. I don't know if you guys recall back in December, I think it was, we had Miss Greenwood from Ship Alaska come in and introduce herself and tell us about her business. And I thought that was a great way to spread the word about a new business in town, or any business in that matter. And then a couple of meetings ago, the mayor said that North Pole is a one-horse town. Other than the, Santa Claus house, there's not a lot of reasons to come to North Pole. And that really rubbed me the wrong way. We have hundreds of really fantastic businesses in this town. So I talked to Mr. Rixey at the Chamber of Commerce and talked to him about this idea, and he said that they would go ahead and take the reins on this and get the businesses signed up and have a list, and so we don't have to do that. So every week or every meeting, a different business would come in and introduce themselves and talk about their business and what they provide for our community. I put it at the very beginning there so they can come in and talk about it, and then they don't have to stick around for the rest of the meeting. The other thing this does is on line 26 there, it just adds the approval of the consent agenda. And previously, if you read previously, the consent agenda would automatically include like the minutes and things like that. So that would be, an asterisk by that for a consent agenda item. So then we're not going to have to go through and approve minutes. We would just approve the agenda and the consent agenda, and then the minutes would be included in that. And this also moves so the citizens' comments are right before approval of the agenda. And it's always been an issue with me that during the committee of the whole, we will put something on the consent agenda. And then if somebody had come in to speak on something and they didn't know that it was going to be consented, then they don't have an opportunity to speak about it. Now, when you look at the agenda, they can see that it's on the consent agenda. They could speak about it during citizens' comments and ask that it be pulled off of the consent agenda or so. This will fix that problem that we've had also.
Okay, anybody signed up for public testimony on this?
I do not have anybody signed up for this.
Okay, that brings us to council discussion. Okay. Seeing none. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
On ordinance 2026-06, Ms. Rolfe,
Yes.
Mr. Claus,
Yes.
Mr. Schuster,
Yes.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Brandt,
Yes.
Mr. Skips,
Yes.
Mayor Church.
Yes. Would anyone like to change their vote?
This ordinance passed first reading with 7 yeses.
Thank you. That brings us on to item D, Resolution 2026. Can I get a motion, please, to introduce?
Move to introduce City of North Pole Resolution 2026-05, a resolution of the North Pole City Council adopting a generative artificial intelligence AI policy for city employees and elected officials.
Second, Skips.
So moved and seconded. Staff report, please. Councilman Claus, with your name being on this as a sponsor, along with
you.
Councilman Williams, would you mind giving us a staff report on this since it's your agenda item?
Thank you. I'd be
Thank
happy to. With OpenAI and ChatGPT, this subject has been brought up before during council meetings, and thanks to our attorneys and the agreement of some of the council members, the mayor, we've sort of reached a consensus, I think, for this particular resolution that addresses generative artificial intelligence policy. So I think it's a good idea. It puts everybody on notice, certain things they're allowed to do and not allowed to do with artificial intelligence, who's going to be in charge of managing artificial intelligence, how it gets into our different communication systems, that sort of thing. So there's some accountability and transparency. And it also helps us and helps the city clerk comply with different state regulations regarding requests for information in public records. So that's why we've sort of come up with this particular resolution. And there's also an accompanying policy 2601, which you haven't addressed yet. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. That moves us on to a call for public testimony. Is there anyone signed up?
I have nobody signed up for public testimony.
Okay. That moves us on to council discussion. Please, Councilman Skips.
So with this, is the city gonna purchase, I guess, a package that whoever, because I see here it says the clerk will have access to the ChatGPT usage logs. So if I want to use ChatGPT, I call her up and say, hey, I want to use it. Here's whatever. They give you a number, you use it and call back and say, hey, I used it for 20 minutes or whatever. Is that how it's going to work or how's it working?
If you wanted to use ChatGPT or AI for city council business, if it's your personal business, that's a whole other story that has nothing to do with us. But
City employees.
yeah, for city employees.
If I'm at work for the
Right.
city,
And you're using ChatGPT to do your work.
but I can't use my own personal GPT.
Not to do that for the
Okay,
city and
okay,
for
I
city.
understand that.
City.
So how is a city employee, let's say Will wants to use well, he's not here. Let's say Will wants to use Chat GPT and he doesn't know where to get it. How can he legally get it? Is the city gonna buy a prescription to it or a subscription and then it goes off from there? How is it gonna work?
That would be absorbed in a particular budget item for whichever department that employee happens to work in to cover those kinds of expenses. Then it would go through in this particular case right now, the way this is being set up and proposed. Right now we have Last Connect. We also have the city clerk, points of contact for this particular proposal and for this resolution.
Okay, so each department would have to purchase their own, be it whatever monetary amount of Chat GPT you're allowed to get. Each section buys their own.
Right. The mayor's
And budgets it and stuff like that.
right. The mayor's office has had that. The police department has had that to a degree. Several other people here in the city have done that.
Okay, I just wanted, because it doesn't really stipulate how. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Last Connect did spend some time going over the policy, and they approved it before it got put forward. If anybody wanted to sign up for a ChatGPT account, they would just need to reach out to Last Connect. And I'm only authorized if public records requests are submitted. Last Connect will have access to it. If public records request comes in, they can harvest the data and then they would give it to me. I don't have control of everybody's ChatGPT. Yeah, each department that wants to use it, which the police department is forbade. Chief Smith has said no ChatGPT here, but other departments that want to use OpenAI can sign up through Last Connect, and then Last Connect holds that license. So if a record request comes in, it doesn't end up having to go to litigation before the records are handed over. They already control the data.
Oh, I understand that. I
Okay.
was just kind of using you as as a central point example.
Well, you were correct. It did say that. I just wanted to clarify. It's not on a daily basis that I'm going to be looking at.
And understand
Yeah,
that each section will have to utilize their own, but going through a Last Connect.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I had a couple questions.
Go ahead. Councilwoman Rolfe, you have the floor.
Yeah, so throughout it, it talks about certain privileges or abilities of the information technology consultant to make decisions or grant permissions. Who is our information technology consultant, or who will that be? Is that Last Connect, or is it somebody within the city?
Last Connect holds the licensing and the data. So is there a line you're speaking of that I can?
There's not a specific line. It talks about it basically throughout the policy of having to go to the information technology consultant for various reasons. So I was just curious who that was. So my second question, though, that I have issues with or I have questions about is under 6D. It talks about disclosure of personnel information and gives an example. Under the example, it talks about not using an employee's name when using generative AI to draft a performance discipline letter. My concern is that this is such a small employment that any information, even if you didn't have the employee's name, you would know what employee that discipline letter is directed at. Something like that shouldn't be entered into generative AI, period. So that's one of my concerns. I don't know that this policy goes far enough to put in place the protections that need to be there.
Did you want your question answered by the clerk?
I think she already answered the one on the information technology consultant, which was, I guess, really the only question, whether it was just a concern that I have.
So I'd like to just follow up and pair my question with yours. Who is the information technology person for the city directed in this?
Connect.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Brandt.
I tend to agree with Ms. Rolfe there. I don't think AI should be used for certain things. Anything that you put into any of these AI models is there's no confidentiality whatsoever once you put it in there. It's just like disclosing it to a third party. So that's a good point that this is a small city. So if you do use it to write up a, employee complaint or something like that, it would be fairly easy to figure out who that is. And same thing with, their example of medical information. That kind of thing should never, ever be put into AI, whether it has a person's name or not, because like Ms. Rolfe said, it would be very easy to figure out who that is. So yeah, I think we do need amendment on that, but I don't know how to word it.
Councilman Claus.
Thank you. I think those issues that you all brought up regarding this particular resolution and the accompanying policy 2601 are important, and perhaps I should request that this particular matter be tabled or postponed until our next meeting till we can do some further research. Is that possible, Mayor?
If you're making a motion,
Right.
please make the motion.
Mayor, I move to table this particular resolution and accompanying policy till our next council meeting.
I would second the postponement to the next council meeting.
Any discussion on that? So I do have a question on the postponement, if you don't mind, since you made the amendment to postpone and the motion to postpone. What is your intent with the postponement? Are you going to read through the policy that you've had a month to read over to narrow it down, or what's the intent with the postponement?
So I would bring up the two issues that were just discussed to our city attorney and just get a final kind of take on it. And perhaps at the next meeting, either withdraw it or just have a vote on it for whichever way it might go.
Okay. Do we have any further council discussion on any other adjustments that may be made to this policy based on that? I have one just looking at 6C.
Just a point of order, we have a motion in front of us and we can only discuss the motion. So if we want to talk about the resolution and the policy in general, the motion would have to be withdrawn or voted down.
Did you want me to call the roll on that or?
Yes.
Sure. Let's call the roll on it.
On the motion to postpone resolution, the IT policy, the AI policy resolution to the next regular meeting, Mr. Claus,
Yes.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Skips,
Yes.
Ms. Rolfe,
Yes.
Mr. Schuster,
Yes.
Mr. Brandt,
Yes.
Mayor Church.
Yes. Would anyone like to change their vote?
The postponement passed by 7 yeses.
Wonderful. That brings us on to item 13, council comments, excluding the mayor.
This evening, we will start with Mr. Claus.
Well, having spent many years on city council, while Trish Fogarty was our CFO, my heartfelt thanks for her. I think it was about 23 years of service to our fair city here. She's done a wonderful job, extraordinarily bright, very resourceful, good-natured, and it's going to be kind of a loss to our city. But I think she's right that she's managed to pull in Will, who'd be a good replacement and approved by the mayor. So I think we're still in good hands, but my heart goes out to Trish, and thank you so much for those 23 years you devoted to our community, and especially the city of North Pole.
Thank you, Mr. Claus. Mr. Brandt?
Oh, I want to second what Councilmember Claus said. Ms. Fogarty is going to be greatly missed here at the city. I think it's horrible the reason she was forced to retire. I feel bad for her. We tried to do something about it, and I'm sorry we were not able to. Yeah, that's all I got.
Thank you, Mr. Brandt. Ms. Rolfe?
I would just echo the sentiments of Councilmember Claus. Ms. Fogarty will be greatly missed. Thank her very much for the service that she's provided for the city. Sorry, I'll miss her send off later this week.
Thank you, Ms. Rolfe. Mr. Schuster?
Yep, like everybody else said, thanks Trish for all your service. You're a true professional, and I think everybody on the council always felt good about you handling the city's financial business. I'd also just like to, I've stated this before, I wish the city had a Facebook page or something of that nature to advertise the moving of the time of the city council meeting. I think there's a lot of residents who probably won't notice that for at least the first couple meetings, and there's not a great way to reach some of those people. So that's just, I hope we can come up with a way as a city we can get that message out to citizens. That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Schuster. Mr. Williams?
I like to thank Trish. She was a good source of information all the years that she's been here. We're going to miss her. There ain't no ifs, ands, or buts. I know it's going to take Will a little bit to understand what's going on, but he always has us to fall back on. If he gets some individual that's want to give him a problem, all he got to do is look it up, turn around, and shoot it back to that individual. I can't do this because of this. And that's important in anything we do, because we got to try and follow the rules. The rules are important, you know. I would prefer having somebody around me that's not a yes person. You got a yes people around you, you're going to have a problem in anything we do, okay? And that's important, because when you got other people that goes against what you say, they come up with some very good ideas, okay? And a lot of people don't like that. A lot of individuals don't like that. Well, personally, hey, because I always get shot down when I'm at home, among other things. But that's important, having people around you that's not a yes person. I don't know about you guys, but that kind of gets me. Because if you got one way of thinking, you'll never change. You'll never get better. And we all see things differently in what we do or how we come out and what we say. So you have to be smart enough to understand that. But we have some people that are not smart enough to understand that. And they make it difficult for all the rest of us. Okay? And that's when you should kick them to the curb. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Okay? Because people are important. We need to work together as a what? I always say team. And Trish, I will miss you, because when I needed something, I can go to you. And she always set me down the right path to get what I want, to find out what I want. And another one that does that is Emily. She set me down the right path of way to do things, how to look at things. And she doesn't agree with me all the time. And she comes out and she tells me, Well, this is why, because of this. And I will say 99.75% of the time, she is right. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. She has a bunch of knowledge there. So once we get a bunch of people on here in the council or wherever that has a bunch of knowledge of how things have to work, and we get our codes up to snuff for everybody, that should be a requirement when we come in. Maybe we should make up a little test for knowing what the codes are, and pick the easy things for us to work on, not the out of way things, the easy things that we come up with. And I'm pretty sure we can come up with a test that'll help us all down the road. But I will miss Trish. I don't know about you guys, but I know I will. And that's all. Oh, and ditto on what everybody else said too.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Mr. Skips?
Yeah, it's too bad that Trish left. I think she left because she didn't want to get all choked up from everybody's comments. But no, me personally, it's been good working. I've worked with her almost 8 years on council, 9 years on council. And yeah, she will be missed. And just to kind of change the subject, it's not summer yet. Watch your driving. Things get slick, especially early in the morning, late in the evenings. That's all I have.
Just real quick before you guys adjourn, I just wanted to address Mr. Schuster's concern. So the ordinance to change the time of the meeting was on first reading, so you'll still have a second reading. But if you do pass it at the next meeting, I will make our banner page. I will have the meeting schedule changed as a pop-up right down at the bottom of our home page. That's if you guys pass it. So it will be up for second reading at the next council meeting.
We close it out?
Move to adjourn.
I heard adjourn and a second,
I'll second.
and we are adjourned at 9:08. With Skips and Williams. Correct. Oh, Sandra, thank you for hanging with us from wherever you're out vacationing at.
Someone's come to me yet. Her forehead and.
Yeah.
I'm having trouble with the